All right. Remlins for acting up. Hey, welcome. It's Patrick from 8 Questions With. Have Cheetah Will View, and we are back. That's right. Hopefully, some of you guys missed us. We have not done one of these since July. So this here we are. We took a month off and to recharge the battery, and then we're jumping right back into it. Tonight we'll be talking to actor, director, or actor, writer, screenwriter Lorenzo Leonard, along with Teli Share. Those two have combined to make a movie called An American HUN Story. Hi, Betty. How are you? I see you. Thank you so much. Um, you will enjoy talking. You'll enjoy our talk with Lorenzo and Telly. They will be here shortly. They made a very cool movie called American HUN Story. It's different for sure. It's an interesting movie, and we'll be catching up with Leonard and see what he's been doing since the last time he was here. And this will be our first time talking to Teli Share, the director of American HUN Story. So we're getting two for the price of one today. And hi, bud. How are you? Yeah, we're back. We're doing interviews. Those who can share us out, please do. Thank you, Betty, for doing that. Yeah, we are back, and of course, there's one thing that hasn't changed, and anybody who's been here before knows that we'll be talking about the old calendar. Ooh, all right. Yeah, it's been fun. I took some time off, no live streaming, other than the Midnight Society. But other than that, no streaming. Just rare instances of coming up there and saying hi. I think I was up on live stream for 15 minutes last month. I did pop up on Garrett's stream, Video Tasties, because he was interviewing Matthias Hughes, and you just know damn well I was going to have to go out there and ask Matthias Hughes a couple of questions. All right. So the calendar is this. Tonight we are talking to Lorenzo Leonard and Teli Share. They'll be here in about 15 minutes or so. On the 4th of September, myself, Marty G, and Ben from Cadaver Club, they will be here, and we will be talking about the movie X on the Midnight Society at 8 p.m. here on my channel. Then the second week or the first full week of September, we are being taken over. That's right. The Cinema Squad is taking over 8 Questions With. And starting off with Upside Dan Eckert will be here with us on Tuesday, the 6th at 8 p.m. Then Sean Jackson, my A24 nemesis, will be here with us at 8 p.m. We will be talking all things film. He's a professional film critic, and we'll be talking all things A24 and IFC. Well, maybe not the whole show, but enough. He asked what movies we were looking forward to in September. I left him my answers. That's right. I'm sure he got a chuckle out of that. And then our good friend Jace will be here on the 8th. Jace Burns will be here with us. Rokar, oh God, I have to. Bokar. It's a, you know what? It's got to be a Star Wars character's name. I just know him as Jace, so that's what I'm gonna say. Jace will be here with us at 8 p.m. on Thursday, and then Friday, we have a special 2 o'clock start. 2 o'clock start. We are interviewing film director Colinda Bongers. Will be here with us a week from tomorrow at 2 p.m. So that will be a very interesting interview. She co-directed a movie called Molly, and we've already interviewed the other co-director, my buddy Thies Muse. I'm killing his name. I know it already. And she also co-directed Molly, which is actually being shown on Tubi now. So if you want to see an excellent film, I recommend to go over there and see Molly on Tubi for free. And then I am actually going on the road after that. I'm heading to Missouri, and I'll be hanging out with Doug and Ava Pottersfield for their hour long show they do every Friday, which is musically based. But they invited us to come over to be guests and meet the Cheetah, so we're going to Missouri. And then yeah, so we have a lot going on in September. We have more coming up, but I'll wait until we get closer to those dates, and then I will share that with you. Okay. Thank you so much, Heather. I appreciate that so much. Hey, Warmstrong, how are you? How are you? You just had a birthday, so I just that was me too. God, how fast do these birthdays sneak up on us? They just sneak up on us and like, hey, you know. Today also is the first really big fat ass day of college football for those who might care or care little. Um, I only say it because I'm a college football fan and my team is playing tonight. So if San Jose State could pull off a win today, that would make me really happy. Okay. There's Interweb Kaiju. Casey's here. They're talking a little bit more about Godzilla's a villain. Godzilla versus Kong. It looks like they've eliminated a couple of potential villains, but they have not eliminated Gigan. Gigan still could be a villain. I personally feel there should be Gigan and Megalon, and then Kong gets his ass whooped in the first 20 minutes of the movie, and then Jet Jaguar comes in and saves the day. That's just how I see it. Or better yet, it'd be instead of Jet Jaguar, it'd be the Gypsy Danger would come in and come up there with that candy ass. Okay. Hey Echo, how are you? How are you? Hope things are going better for you, sir. I know you took some time off. Hopefully your battery is recharged as well. I don't know that I'm excited for I did not realize how far advanced they are. They started releasing pictures of the Godzilla versus Kong 2 movie. They started releasing pictures, and I guess they're making a TV series out of it. I don't know how well that will do. A weekly series. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if they did Ultraman, but that's just me, of course. So hopefully you guys are doing all right. As you can see by above, I actually learned how to do a couple of things. See, I got the Cheetah's picture right there, with the handsome cheetah that he is. I got him up there, and then down here, I have the banner. The banner is working, so I did that all by myself. No one taught. No one showed me. I figured it out without blowing up my computer. Hi, Katie. How are you? The midnight hour will be on at 10 o'clock, and I heard rumor has it from the Hobbs that the midnight hour will be discussing the American squirrel and its habitat. That's what he told me. I have it down there. I will print it up and post it on here. Hey, Charles. How are you, sir? Oh. You know what's funny about that? Johnny Sucko and his flying robot? That actually ended. They actually had a proper ending for that show. And it was very much like the Iron Giant. American Scarecrow. Bite your tongue, Casey. Shh, you must have been watching Hobbs's family video hall video. Oh my God, that still makes me mad. Over a year later, and I still see him coming out of the family video, paying $14 for that or $13 for that. Still makes. So we got a couple of new directors coming in. We got Joel Gioni. He'll be here. He made a movie called It Snows All the Time. It's a powerful family drama. We'll be talking about that on the 13th. On the 14th sees the return of our friend Karen Cleach, an actress teacher extraordinaire and my friend, and she'll be with us here on the 14th at 7 p.m. Early start, 7 p.m. Wednesday the 14th. And then on the 15th, we are welcoming in a very vivacious and very interesting young lady. Her name is Madame Guinevere, and she will be here on the 15th at 8 p.m. And then exciting news on September 19th. September 19th, we have Jim Martin coming on to the show. You might know him as Now It's Dark, and this is going to be his first time doing a interview live stream. And we're really happy that that he's coming on to do the show with us. That will be on a Monday at 8 p.m. So I'm excited for that. Jim is one of the nicest guys that we have in our community, as you all know. In fact, he just got done putting out his new contest, the 1313 contest. He just put that out on his channel. As far as I know, and it's early still, as far as I know, I don't think Hobbs has won yet. So we all have a chance. So he'll be here with us on the 19th. And then we have screenwriter Spider Doborowski will be here at 8 p.m. He has a new movie out called Teardrop that was actually edited by our friend Sean Kane. Hey, Pete, how are you, sir? Yeah, it was edited by our good friend Sean Kane, edited Spider's movie that he wrote. So that'll be on the 20th, and then on the 22nd, I'm still working on the 21st. On the 22nd, we have a doubleheader. We have Max Wassa will be here on the 22nd. Actress Max Wassa will be here on the 22nd at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Yeah, I know. Isn't that always the case, Charles? It is. Hobbs wins. Hobbs wins even when he isn't entered in the contest. And then on the 22nd at 9 p.m. we will be welcoming in our first guest from New Zealand. Our first guest from New Zealand will be here on the 22nd, and that will be actress Tristan Risk. So it's like I said, we have an exciting month here. I'm very happy with it. I still got some holes to fill, but we'll get it done. And yeah, as you probably noticed too, we are tracking to 800. We're at 775 now. We are making that push to 800. So hopefully we can get there sooner than later. I'd like to get there by Halloween. That's what I like to do. I like to get there by Halloween. That'd be nice. Hi, Andre. How are you? Getting ready for the big fight this weekend. Ruiz versus Ortiz this weekend. That will be a slobber knocker. If they're both in somewhat good shape, that could be a pretty good fight. If they're out of shape, man, they're gonna be hanging on each other the whole night through. All right, let's go get some guests. Hey, Telly.
Hello, Patrick. Can you hear me?
Excellent.
Good. Is this live?
We are live.
Oh, all right.
I believe Leonard is right behind you.
Okay.
He is. Ta-da!
Hey, how we doing?
Yeah. Talk about timing.
I'm telling you, we plan this together. That's how in communication we are, and we feel it.
That's right. Welcome back to the show, Lorenzo. Lorenzo, how are you been? How you been?
Well, thank you for welcoming me. I've been doing good, living life, and feeling good. It's an honor to be back on your show. How are you doing?
We're hanging in there. We caught a case of gout this week.
You were telling me about that on Instagram. I am so sorry about that. When I texted you the apple cider vinegar, that's the research I found that, apple cider vinegar, that nature's cure for everything.
Yeah, I actually went out and I bought some. Apple cider vinegar, and I also got some lemon juice. They say to combine that would actually help. So I am going to do that. I got it chilled out. I've been icing my foot. See what we have to go through as interviewers, Telly. We go through hell to bring you a show.
Thank you so much for having us.
Well, I'm glad that you are here. Now, you guys just came from a Sparkle show, right? Or did you pre-record that?
It's magic. We just came from it, right?
Was that live?
That we pre-recorded that.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I was wondering if she did her show live, or did she record it, or did she walk on a wire like we do here?
I like that you walk on the wire. That's good. You never know what will happen. Hey, what's the little cat in the corner?
That is the cheetah.
Oh, well, that's sleeping so peacefully.
That's right. Until you shake the treat bag, then he becomes a 47-mile-an-hour missile. That's right. You could do a sequel called American Cheetah Story.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, we've been getting some options. That's the previous one we got was American HUN Story Cougar Edition. That's been the one everyone's been asking me about.
Man, I tell you what, man, that American HUN Story, holy crow, that was a well-casted movie. That movie has some serious serious firepower. I'm like, man, Lorenzo's got the juice now, because there was a bevy of beautiful ladies in that movie.
Yeah, well, they were very professional actors, and they did a good job. Telly and myself, and then our co-producer Henry, all we put casting notices on Backstage, LA Casting, and a couple other ones, right, Telly?
Yeah, it was. It's quite a process. And,
Yeah,
we had to explain to some of the actors what they were supposed to do, because some of them didn't read the description. Some of them kind of caught surprised. So there's a lot of stories behind.
We didn't want to we told everyone feature film. We have other films out. You're going to be doing X, Y, and Z, but then sometimes it would be a little different when they would show up, even though we showed them a contract and agreement.
Yeah, I mean, what did they expect? Did they expect that they're going to have to get naked? Because why didn't they look at what the script and what the contract said? It said no nudity.
No, there's nothing like that. It
nothing like that.
Wanted some sex appeal. Well, nothing vulgar. It's just funny and relaxed.
Exactly what you saw is very verbatim. We took that and we wrote in the casting description. I think some actors maybe just see, what they're getting paid, because we paid them pretty, very well for a short amount of time, and what's going to be on streaming services. So I just think they look at that and don't really pay attention to all the details. And but
Victoria Demare, no, she's a professional. I mean, she's a working actress.
Yeah, she was very fun, right, Telly?
Yeah, she was very professional.
Very professional.
Very cooperative. And
yeah, I know some of her work. So I the rest of the actresses were new to me, and but I knew who Victoria was when I saw her.
That's awesome.
Now last time how what have you been doing besides since we talked to you last? I think we talked to each other last year. Now, how long after we talked, Lorenzo, did this movie? Was this something that you were working on when we first chatted, or was this something that came to you afterwards?
Oh no, we started this process in 2019, and actually the day before lockdown, had just happened to be our last day of shooting.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so we went through. So yeah, and then during that time we were doing some post-production, and then after things slowly opened up, we did some reshoots, and we not too, recently in the recent past did we finish this, and of course now it's available on Tubi and Amazon, and it's available on 5 other streaming services, but those are the most notable ones. And we're currently in post-production for an actor reality docuseries show.
Now, the one thing I came right off the bat when you said this was on Tubi, and I was glad to see that.
Yes.
Will American HUN Story, will that be getting a physical release?
Well, I guess being on streaming services would be the release.
I mean, we can.
Yeah.
There's some platform like Amazon. They have those services where you could produce DVD or Blu-rays.
Okay, the video on demand. Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we
Um,
can. Mhm.
Yeah, I was just, it seems like that seems to be more of the trend now. Oh, Betty's saying hello to Telly and Lorenzo.
Hello, Betty.
Hello.
Can you guys see the chat okay?
Let's see. I see. I'm on private chat now. Oh, now no, I don't see a chat actually.
Okay, there's a
Comment.
Yeah, comment. There's comment section, and there should be a. Don't worry about it if you can't see it. I'll read it. I'll keep track of it for us.
Okay.
Now, now, Telly, you've been directing for a while now.
I kind of stay with behind the camera thing. I find it more suitable for me because I'm a more shy person, and it's better to leave.
You're shy. Take it behind the camera.
Yeah, it's very different though. I actually tried doing some work in front of the camera, and then I realized it's not my. It's not my.
Different, isn't it?
No,
He's being modest, but he did a fine job, and he did a good acting job, and you could see his performance on Tubi, right?
Yeah, we have another work on Tubi.
Yeah, it's called A Fiend's Love, a martial arts drama, and you'll see him starring in that film, and he did a fantastic job.
Oh, we'll have to take a look at
that. Thank you. That's quite a compliment.
Now, how did you? So you got into acting first, then, right?
I tried different things when I first started as a filmmaker, and I like directing and writing the most, so I just stay with that sector, and ever since I've been doing just directing and writing and producing.
Now, what are some of the biggest changes that you noticed being in front of the camera and being behind it? What are some of other than being more relaxed behind it?
Well, in front of the camera, that's like the pressure amount, it's very different, and to be able to like lose yourself and just like doing all these emotional performance, it's very difficult. I have a lot of respect for people who want to be actor or who are actors, because it's not it's not an easy job. It takes a lot to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And then people sometimes they don't appreciate. They can just, they can criticize, but then, until you try yourself, you realize how hard it is to be in front of camera.
Yeah, that's what people say. I mean, some people say that's, at least they made a movie. I respect that. I do. I do respect that. I do respect that. Yeah, they made a movie and I haven't. I respect that to a point. Because if it's a movie's really, really bad, I mean, really, like, I'm not going to sit there and say, well, yeah, but at least they made a movie. No, no, that's. If that was the case, every movie would be up for an Oscar, right?
You gotta own up to mistakes, or if you're not there yet, and there's crafts that you have to improve. Yeah, there's all that for sure. There's that for sure.
But I think with every project you do, then you learn and you grow and get better. So it's like each project you're, I think, working your way up, getting better and better.
Now, was this your first screenplay, Lorenzo?
No, my first screenplay that I actually wrote a screenplay called Life at Times about my father's death. And then our first feature together with Telly and his brother From the Earth was Into Tartarus. And that's also on Tubi. That was our first feature that we did, which is about 4 20-something kids that get kidnapped and tortured, and they have to do these degrading and torturous things in order to survive. And then after that, we worked our way to American HUN Story that I wrote, and some other things coming up. So once you start the engine, it just doesn't stop.
No, that's the way it should be, right?
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely. Yeah, and it all started with short films. That's the thing, if people don't know where to start, I mean, you could take 5-minute short, shoot it with your cell phone. You can buy amazing lenses for cell phone and sound equipment, and you could submit it to festivals. That's where we learned about distribution and all kinds of things along the way. You learn with short films and going to film festivals.
yeah, film festivals and doing short films. I mean, I'm a huge fan of short films.
Yeah.
I do. I think I wish more directors and more actors would do them.
Yes, they're really good. I did many short films, and the one that was successful for me was the last one I did. It's behind me. This one, Self-Help, and that's on Amazon, and that's the one that really helped me meet a lot of people.
Have you submitted any of your works for festivals, Telly?
Yeah, I mean, I myself have done. Well, I started with short films, and I did maybe about 7 or 8 before I decided to do my first feature, which is A Fiend's Love. And I submit that to Film Fest. We submitted Into Tatters to Film Fest, and I also have like drama film that I've submitted to Film Fest, and it's.
Do you guys ever get feedback from your peers when you go to festivals? Because I know you guys go press the flesh and say hi and schmooze and all that. But do other peers of like either be acting or directing or screenwriting? Do you ever get feedback after a movie like this? Well, let's say they watched American HUN Story. Do people ever come up to you and they sit there and offer you advice or insight or?
Yeah, well, we had 2 things of advice for American HUN Story. We got into Action on Film Festival, AOF in Las Vegas, and we had our screening. And sometimes people give advice without saying they're giving advice.
Yeah.
And so we were watching the movie, and everything was great. People were enjoying it, and we got to this one part, and literally we emptied the movie theater.
Really?
Yeah. So then we were glad though, because then we went home, did some rewriting, and that's when we went back into production and said, okay, we have to correct this, and it flowed a lot better from that. So
may I ask what moment it was?
It's something we were trying to do. Like it's kind of like an experiment.
Okay.
So we thought it will work, and
yes,
then we realized it's not gonna work. It will be really bad if we try it with that. So we that night we were in the hotel, we were talking.
That must have been a scary moment.
Yeah,
well, we thought this was gonna like we were like, oh, the Oscar is coming now. We're gonna get autographed. That's how good I thought it was gonna be. Because this advice also came. No, it came from other people too. Because we actually had what's the word called, Telly, when you get a group of people together to watch your
like a focus group.
Yeah, we had a focus group on Zoom for the film, and we had a lot of good feedback on that, and all that together, it really, really helps. The focus group was really good, I thought, because they each gave feedback to different areas of the film based on the questionnaire we gave them.
Yeah, I mean, that must have been like I can't even imagine. But well, you know what? I actually can. I can relate to what happened. Like when you expect the best, and all of a sudden there's no one there to watch it. In my music days, I could relate to that. But at the same time, you're sitting there and you're watching that, and you see not just 2 or 3 people, but the whole audience get up. That you guys just must have been just like, holy shit. But you guys look like you guys recovered.
Yeah, I think it's my dad used. Yeah,
and very valuable.
Very valuable.
You rather have that than when you go public, and then the bad reactions from the public, not from focus group or film.
Not at all. Yeah, you only learn from your failure. So it's almost a good thing.
Now, had you written the screenplay for an American HUN Story before you met Telly, or was this something that you did afterwards?
Oh no, yeah, we met a while ago, and actually he helped me produce Self-Help together. We did that together. So I met Telly quite, geez, I think it's been a while now, and he hired me to be in his directing reel.
Oh,
And yes, one of his cinematographers had a film class at Pasadena City College, and my name was up on my headshot was on the wall because I would do a lot of their projects, because I was one of the few actors that would memorize their lines and come prepared. So then he asked me to be in the directing reel, and then I wanted to do my short Self-Help. So I was like, hey, let's do this. I want to do this. So, and then from there, it just kept going to the next project and the next project. So yeah, we did this together. It started out as like a series on Instagram, and then Telly said we should make this into a feature.
Oh, also, Mr. HUN had already appeared on who appeared first, Stanley or Mr. HUN?
I believe it's Mr. HUN. I mean,
Yeah.
Mr. HUN was the concept character we developed.
Mr. HUN and the ladies were the concept.
Yeah, the HUN ladies and Mr. HUN, and it came from this like the 80s, 90s, these cheesy
infomercials.
Yeah, do you remember them? Like the girl would come to the screen.
My name's Tom Boo. I'm a millionaire. You could be a millionaire too.
No, the 900 numbers where it'd be like, welcome to Intimate Connections.
Oh no, there was a.
Are you lonely? Call 1-900.
There was an infomercial by this guy named Tom Vu, and he would go around saying, "I'm a millionaire. Do you want to be a millionaire? Follow my system, my quick rich system."
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But Mr. HUN is not a shyster. He's a spiritual helper.
He's a helper. Yeah.
He's gonna send the right person to you to help. And that's what the whole movie is dealing with. Is I play Stanley, who is getting he's losing all his money to a divorce and getting beaten down by all these harsh realities, and then this mysterious business card shows up in his on his desk. He calls this number 1-844-HUN for fun, and Mr. HUN comes out of this HUN universe and shows him that if he applies this superpower, he could possibly turn his life around.
I have to say, this is made for all the hardworking men or men who are marginalized, men who gets abused. Like when we first wrote this, it was for hardworking men. Like our target audience was for men, and we wanted to bring some like comedy, some laughter. But the stuff that we talked about in the film, things we believe or we experience ourselves on a daily basis. Like this is dedicated to, like the phone number that keep appearing in the film. It's a live number. We made it live so that people can actually call. And the truth is, we get calls and we get people who leave messages from time to time, and some of them it's kind of heartbreaking because you could hear their voice, like they sound like they're tired, or they got beaten down so bad, like you could hear them, and then we feel like we're onto something. It's kind of like a mission.
Were you surprised? Did you intend? I mean, when you did it, did you ask for that phone number, or did you say, yeah, we want to make this line active? Did you actually? Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, we were talking about how I brought up how when Ghostbusters came out in the 80s, they actually made the commercial they made in the movie. That phone number was real as a marketing ploy. Right. So we were talking about, hey, maybe we should do the same. And, Telly and Henry made it happen. And it's, we got great voice messages. And like you said, some people just, they really need that little help.
It's amazing people actually called numbers.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. You see a number on TV and you hear that 1-800-555, and you immediately go like, that's a fake number, so don't call it. But boy, oh boy, if you put anything in there other than 555, you're gonna get people trying to call it. You know, even though it might not be.
100%.
Yeah, what a trip. Good
Yeah,
marketing tool.
Yeah, we thought I was. Yeah, we stole from, who was it? Is it Ivan Reitman or one of them who did the Ghostbusters? Man, they were brilliant. I thought that was great.
No, me too.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Now Stanley's a bit of a sad sack, and I like him the third time that he meet Mr. Han. Mr. Han basically has run out of patience. It's like, dude, get yourself up and actually do something, because he's already rescued you twice. And then he has to come back there, and you're like, oh, I give up. And then he's like, now, was it? Now, how did where did you come up with where did you come up with the character of Stanley at?
You know, I think, and Telly, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's just those times in your life where you're, you know, at those moments where you're just so like, you know, you feel like people are taking advantage of you, being mean, and you don't know how to speak up, and you can't speak up. It's not you, you know, you're not that person. You're just hoping everyone's going to be that nice to you, and that's where it came from. And then the Hun ladies, I don't know how other guys feel, but in those times of my life where, you know, you were sad and depressed, and you go to those kinds of places where women are dancing, they just were always so nice and understanding. So
Right.
That's where the concept of, well, instead of Mr. Hun telling Stanley, what if we have a beautiful lady who's in lingerie telling him? Because it just makes so much more sense that way.
Yeah, because here they are. They're not only they are lingerie, not only are they in lingerie, but like you said, they're smoking smart. I mean, they're just, you know, they're smart as hell.
Yeah, well, Telly and I had researched actual solutions for all the 3 issues in the film, and through both of our research, those are the real solutions, and who are delivered by real professionals in that field, as you'll see if you watch the film.
Yeah, I mean the sexy lady, it's for entertainment purpose. Like, I mean, we're watching a movie, so we want to make it entertaining. But
Sure.
at the same time, we do want to say that, like, these lady, they have the knowledge. They're giving actual help. They don't just look pretty. They're actually
They're
it's almost
smart.
like Angel comes out and help
Yeah.
a desperate person.
I think it worked. I you know, on that aspect of it, I think it worked because it was different. It was like, okay, because the first thing you think of when you see Victoria walk down for the first time, you're going, oh boy, you know, like, holy cow. But then all of a sudden, you're right. When she starts, you know, telling him the solutions to his problems, you know, this is how you can get out of debt. I thought, well, you know, that's really interesting. It's entertaining. You know, she looks pretty, but she's not there necessarily for the body. She's there for the brain. And now you got to be, man, if you're not just, you know, and you have to stay focused, because that was funny, because it's like, if the Stanley's not focused on the problem, he could be distracted by the lady, you know? So it was like teaching him, like, don't be unfocused. But I got to tell you, I didn't get the impression when I was watching the movie that Stanley's wife, I got the impression Stanley's wife still loved him. I think
Oh,
that
really?
she still, yes, I think she still loved him. I think she was just tired of seeing him like sit around and not do anything. She wanted him to take action. That's what she wanted.
You know what? I didn't. I think that's a very awesome point. After, because I'm going through it now in my head, that part, and I can see how that could be duplicated. And I actually like that. That's the duplication you got. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I thought I was watching it because, you know, I'm sitting there watching it, and she's not, you know, she was upset, but she wasn't mad. I mean, it wasn't hate, it was frustration. She's like, dude, get up. You know, she walks by and she gives him a big kiss, and she she still has feelings.
She had really big lips. So when we did it, covered like my whole cheek.
I saw that. But she still had feelings for Stanley, and I'm like, okay. So actually, toward the end of the movie, I think, okay, well, he's going to solve his problems, and then he's going to win his wife back. You know, it didn't necessarily work out in the movie that way, but you know, that's how I could see where it went.
I like that.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's really good. No, that's great.
I didn't sense it at all. And you know, and quite honestly, Stanley still loved his wife too, because honestly, if he would have been, because he wasn't tempted at all. If you go back and watch the movies, he
No.
wasn't tempted by the ladies. He
Yeah.
didn't once try to put a single move on any of them at all. He was just like he just wanted help. But
I think it's fantastic that you got that. That it makes my day, because you write a film, you produce it, put it out there, and you hope people get different understandings of it. And I think that's fantastic. That's great. That's really good. Thank you.
So let's walk over to the casting process, or let's go back to the writing process, because I like the writing process and I like to know about it. So how did you write the script, Lorenzo? Were you and Telly both together in the same room writing it? Were you by yourself writing it? Did you guys meet like once a week to go over it together? How did the script come together?
Oh, okay. Well, when we decided to do the feature, Telly, actually, who is just the perfect director in that he's very organized. So we each wear our hats very well. So he says, hey, we should do this feature. This is my idea. We're going to do, these are the parts, and we need to come up with topics for each of those parts. I was like, okay. So I researched, and so did he. And then about a week or two later, we came up with topics that him, myself, and then Henry, the other co-producer, actually liked based on popularity in the world. So that's when that's why the film talks about depression, finances, and then like a self-help guru, a coach. And from there, we took those topics, and then I went and turned out the script. And then when I get my first draft, I show it to Telly, show it to Henry, and then we all then put our inputs in there. And then soon after that, we get our final script and we're done.
Okay. I like the character of Mr. Han a lot. Now, was there anybody that you drew upon to create Mr. Han?
There's a series of inspiration. So the idea was like half that infomercial and half like a pimp.
Yeah.
Because we were on our way to Vegas, and we're talking about like brothels and stuff like that, and then just one thing led to another. We just came out with this person who act like a pimp, but who's actually working with very smart, pretty lady.
Yeah.
So
a pimp and like an Asian James Bond pimp.
I think you guys never saw the old show Fantasy Island.
Oh, the plane.
Mr. Rourke.
Yeah.
It seemed like a little bit of Mr. Rourke in there, because he came on there and he had all the answers. And
right. Oh my God, I haven't thought of that in a while.
Yeah. I'm like, man, Mr. Hunn's got his finger on everything. So it came from that, and then we were talking about how, do you ever notice when you're young and you've gone to a stripper, everything she says just makes so much sense. They understand you so well, and you're like, man. Yeah, well, that's why a lot. Actually, I hear a lot of business deals are done in strip bars.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's any truth to that, but we'll just go with it. Now, did you have to do some research for this? Did you have to go some of those places to talk to some of the girls?
Yes, it was a very heavy process. We each took a zone. Okay. And luckily, being a man, if we're totally honest, I think we've all had enough, at least I know me, and I think everybody, right, Telly, that we've had enough experiences as a young man turning 21 where you could take on that. Wouldn't you say so, Telly?
I think it's that, but also we're just thinking about what kind of issue do average men have to go through on a daily basis, like all different walks of life, student, young men who is working, or divorced men, or men who are having midlife crisis, or marriage, like all kinds of things that men would experience. So we just kind of brainstorm and we make them into different topics, and then we write them out like with comedies.
I'll tell you this story real quick, and this is like when you're the basis of your idea. It's not so far fetched as you think. back in another life, I knew a young lady who did that, who was a dancer. And that's what she did. And she went on to later become a multi-millionaire real estate broker.
Oh wow.
She's still doing it. She has her own company, and she sells real estate in Northern California. Yeah, she's a millionaire. I'm sure she's a millionaire several times over.
I think it's great.
I'm not, like, it's not so far-fetched as far as the women having the brains and going there to get advice.
Right. And with Stanley, he feels like
it sounds funny, but yeah, it happened.
Oh, 100%. And Stanley, he feels like, he's depressed, he's sad, he's doing everything he can to get a beautiful house. And so he's not getting that input from his wife. So obviously when you feel that way in life, you go to a stripper, whether she thinks it or not, or she's just faking, you believe that she thinks you're awesome and that you're the best thing in the world.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where Stanley gets better.
Even though those feelings only last to the end of the song. So after you came back and started writing the character, now I know I probably won't get an answer for this, but I still got to ask it. But who is Mr. Hun? I mean, who played him?
It's Mr. Hun.
So are you planning to bring the character back?
Well, there's actually, to be honest, Telly has two twin brothers. There's Henry, who does all the composing, and he's an editor. And then his twin brother is this successful businessman who's kind of this womanizer. So he just took his business life and we put it right into the film.
So Mr. Hunt is your brother. Oh, okay, well that solves casting.
Yeah, and we just took from his real life because his other brother is just very successful in business, and he's always doing crazy things where you would think he'd get fired from his job, but because he's so rich, it doesn't matter, I guess. So he just played himself.
Okay, all right.
Bizarro brother.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, how was your pitch to this? I mean, to because that's the hardest part of any project is raising the financing. What was your pitch? And who did you pitch it to raise the money?
Well, we didn't really try to raise any money. We kind of built this project little by little. We found a way to first run like short series of the Hun Lady episodes like on social media, and from that we begin to have more ideas of how to, because I always wanted to like make things into a commodity, something we could actually sell. So if you do it in little episode, I just thought maybe it's harder to sell. I mean, you can gather views, but it's hard to sell. But if we can put it together as a narrative or like a feature length, then maybe we could, stream it as a film title. So ideas started to grow again, and how do we like tweak it and put some story behind it, and that's why the writing parts began again, and we just kind of save up and think about how to be creative. As independent filmmakers, that's what you do. You just be creative and be economical, and I mean, like all kinds of stuff that you have to consider, and we put it together ourselves, and that's the rest is history.
I think that's the best way to sometimes to sell a script is to do it yourself, and to be a filmmaker and your own producers. You make the film yourself, you save money, and then you sell it yourself, and that's been successful. We did that with Ninja Tartarus, and now with American HUN Story.
Was dealing with if you don't mind answering this, but how does one get a movie placed on Tubi? Did you approach them? Did they did you submit the movie, or did they hear about you? How does that go around? How does a filmmaker get a movie on a service like Tubi? How hard was it?
So there are distribution platforms where they are designed to help independent filmmakers. There are websites like Film Hub, or there are aggregators like Indie Rights. Those are companies that are willing to take a look at independent filmmakers' work, and if they find the project relevant, they'll take your project and they will pitch to platforms like major platforms, and they're kind of like the middlemen. And because we can't really solicit our own work directly to the platform, so you need these middlemen, and they
Yeah.
are established middlemen that you could approach. And if your work is relevant to them, then they'll take your project and then they'll pitch to these major streaming platforms, and then it's up to them to decide if they think it's suitable. And if they think it's suitable, then they'll take your title and they put it in their libraries. And luckily, we'll we will consider relevant, so
Yeah.
they picked us.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was cool to see. When he said it was on Tubi, I was like, okay, 'cause that's where I watched it on, and obviously, and I was like, wow, this is. I mean, I really like the idea that they were doing that because Amazon used to do that when they first started
Yeah.
out.
Yes.
You would actually make some money, and then
Yes.
they went away from that, and now it seems like Tubi has taken that place.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're paying you some money. I think they should, because Tubi is very
Oh, yeah.
very popular.
Yeah, Amazon used to be really good, and then they really kind of destroyed the independent filmmaker. But
Yeah.
now Tubi is fantastic because they're a known platform and they have amazing films, and they don't just close the door to independent filmmakers. And you could get it on any device, and it's free. And it's not one of those, because sometimes you hear it's free and then you go on there and it's like, yeah, F you, it's not free. But this is it's really free. You don't have to. It's wonderful. So there's no excuse. If you want that superpower, Tubi
That's
TV.
right. That's right.
I was
So
saying that.
let's talk
Sorry.
about let's
No.
talk a little bit about the casting a little bit, because
Yeah.
now when you first when you wrote the script, Lorenzo, did you have anybody in mind, or a dream casting or anything like that? Do you have anybody in mind to be in your movie, or did you just write it and just as a script and just hope for the best?
Yeah, just for what, write it and hope for the best. No one in particular in mind. The only people I have in mind is professional actors, which is they show up, they know their lines, and they're ready to work. No excuses. We've had that before, where actors show up after a month of preparation and didn't even read the script. So that's our only goal, is professional actors. And Telly and I, we put up casting notices on all the platforms. We had a ton of inflow of actors. And then when we talk to them, you kind of start to weed out the people who are a little afraid to do this and they think it's bad. And, you're trying to explain to them, I'm talking to you, your image and your likeness is going to be on many platforms. You can tell an agent or person that's very valuable. And you get down to the people who are willing to work. Like in American HUN Story, the twins is really one person. This actress, she had to memorize like 15 pages of both characters to do it and show a different character. So people like that's good to work with.
Yeah, she was really good too.
She was stressed out that day.
Yeah, she was a little stressed out. She did really well, and
I thought she did really well too.
She was good.
Yeah, she was really good. She's actually a professional dancer.
Okay.
Yeah, you can find her on Instagram. Does very good professional dancing.
I really, I really enjoyed watching the ex-wife, Ashley Alquist. I thought she was really good. I wish she would have been in more of the movie, but I guess that was the design, was to have her come in there, play the villainess, and then go out. But I thought she was really engaging. I thought it was smart casting.
Well, it's funny. You asked that other question before. That came out of, that's one of the things that also came out of the screening at the film festival, is we realized we needed to put a face to this person doing these things to Stanley.
We needed
Okay.
a villain.
Yeah, to show that villain what's causing him
one
all
of
the stress.
one of the missing link that we realized.
Yeah.
So we had to
Yeah,
come
people
up with
want to see
more.
the people want to see the villainous. They want to
And
see
it-
the person behind it.
And that's played by Ashley, who gets all these villain characters, and she isn't just a sweetheart, which is
Yeah.
really funny to see how, what's the word, bitchy she can get, and she's totally not that. She is so nice.
Yeah, but that's what
And-
makes someone a great actor.
Yeah.
When they play so far against type that who they really are.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, how hard was it you and Lorenzo? I mean, honestly, I mean, this is here you are. You're casting your own movie, so you get to have all these really attractive ladies. Was it really hard to stay in character in some of these scenes? And we see got some, now Stanley didn't touch anybody, but Lorenzo, the man, the actor, he's still there. I mean, there were some scenes there that were like, holy crow.
Yeah. Well, luckily the character is supposed to be surprised and wow, like he hasn't seen this because he's been in an office, turning and burning, doing financial planning. So he's just supposed to be so surprised. So luckily, you don't have to act. You could just I can react based on how I really feel and maybe exaggerate it a little bit. So it was obviously, all the actors were really good. They did well, and it's not a bad day of work when you have to go in and do that.
How about you?
But I
Telly?
am happily married, and I love my wife, right, honey? You're the only one for me.
Yeah, I gotta come clean now.
Yeah.
Gotta put that in there, right,
Put
Telly?
that out there.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever directed anything like that before, Telly? With now it wasn't necessarily intimate, but it still was sort of risque. Have you ever directed scenes like that?
Nothing at this scale.
Well, how did you prepare for them?
Well, I mean,
Telly
first of
went to
all-
many strip clubs, and he got lap dance. No, he didn't. No.
I mean, you research a little bit about how to be sexy, but the rest of the work is mostly, the talents. They just understand, and if you give them a little bit of hints, and could you, do something like this and here and that, they usually get it. They're really good. So we're very lucky to have these casts. I didn't have to,
There was only 2 times where Telly had to actually see. Telly's a very hands-on director. He's very modest, but he had to actually show the actor. There was twice he had to, and with Acelia, I think it was, right?
Acela. Yeah,
Acelia,
she's good. She understands how to be sexy, and
she does.
if you just, give
I
her a
think
little
I
lead.
think she's the greatest discovery. Oh, that's a up and comer.
Yeah, she was very, very nice and professional too. So that's the good thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was impressed with that. I was like, holy, because sometimes you watch movies and one of the things I like to do, you always like to find out like up and comers, like who do you want to see in the next movie or something like that. And I thought Acela was just instantly, as soon as she saw her on the camera, she was just man, she just controlled the screen.
Yeah, she has
yeah.
that fire.
Yeah.
There's definitely.
So I mean, overall, I mean, you guys are really happy with the film. What kind of feedback have you gotten so far from it? I mean, now that the completed film, not the one you saw in Vegas, but now, what's the response been for you so far?
This is gonna be crazy, but I've gotten, even from my mother who watches everything I do. She gave a great comment saying, not my type of movie, but I enjoyed the story. All the acting was good. And I've gotten obviously people telling me, oh, it's, entertaining and just one of those movies that you don't have to think and you could just watch.
Okay. So the whole process was really good for you both.
It was very rewarding. Oh, I have to say. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not because you get to work with beautiful girls and all that. It's just every aspect of it. You come up with an idea and then you put things together and you meet people hard who are hard workers. It's all being professional, and people come together and they make a project, and now it's done, and it's very rewarding in that sense.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like when the pandemic was starting to get over, it was opening up, and we thought we were done. And I was so proud of all of everyone involved because we went back, did more, reshoots, and it's so hard to do reshoots when you see something done because in your head you're like, well. So I was really proud that we reshot things, we re-edit, composed new music. That was I thought very impressive when it was already done.
Agreed. Um, so has this been your? I mean, you probably hear this, over and over, but has this been your best project up to date for either of you? Has this, of all the things that you've done, has this one been? Has this been the best experience?
I think they're all good, like the best for different reasons. Like this one was, for me, great because it was a different genre and we were doing something just fun and to make people laugh. But Into Tartarus was good because it was a project we were working on for 10 years. And then, Self-Help was good because that was the one that was getting it going. So I think they're all always good just for different reasons.
Yeah, it's also, this is like my first comedy film. Like I've done like thriller and drama, and so this is like my first comedy, and it felt good to make this attempt to make a comedy film. It's not easy to make a comedy film because
Yeah.
Comedy is hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now you guys worked together on Into Tartarus, and that is that's a flashback movie, right? I have not watched it, but I'm taking what I'm seeing. It's a flashback movie. You're telling the reporter your story.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now it's a two-person movie, so it's heavy on dialogue. Now, is that a hard movie to film when you only have a small cast and no locations other than maybe one or two locations or set?
I think location is almost by design to just the creative part. It's almost done that way so that you could just use these locations and make a compelling story. Because there are a few titles out there. If you've seen, it's it's directly done that. It's purposely done that way to
Yeah.
emphasize on story. Like how do you make something that's very compelling just within a small space? So the story drives it. You just need to go back and forth into different places, and then you can tell a great story.
I think that to me that would be really difficult in the fact because you got two characters. That's what you have, and then they're carrying the whole movie. But it's a great play. It would make a great play, but as a movie, it's a little bit different, because will the audience hang with both the characters? Are they going to be vested in both of them to follow them all the way through? How do you prepare for because this is a different type of film? So how do you keep like for you, Lorenzo? How did you keep your energy up for a shoot like that? That's a long process.
Definitely a long process, and for that one, I actually researched a lot of serial killers and things that happened in their life, what brought them to that point, and then I try to take that and apply it and be like, what in my life can I somehow relate where I would get to this point? And I take that and just stay focused, and I and it's easy for me to memorize dialogue because I did some off Broadway, and then from your research you show up on set and you're just ready because you've done so much work, like working out in the gym, and you show up on set and you're ready. And if sometimes maybe a shot or things doesn't work, well, you then just do it again and you keep trying till you get it.
Yeah, was it hard playing? Was it hard playing characters like that? Like Stanley Birdie that was a joy to play. That you must have had just a lot of fun playing him.
Yeah.
But is it easier to play comedy roles for you than it is drama? I mean, like heavy dramas like a Tartarus.
I found actually Into Tartarus easier. Yeah, I don't know, maybe just I don't know, just for some reason the drama of a human life I could just relate to a little bit more. I had a fantastic upbringing, so it's not like I had a bad upbringing. I don't know, I just somehow can relate to somebody maybe going a little insane, and so I find that a little easier. But the comedy, it was a little harder, I thought, the comedy portion.
Now, what has actually been the biggest? What are some of as I'll ask this for both of you. You can decide who can go for answer first. But what are 3 things that you would want to work on your craft as a film director, as a screenwriter, as an actor? What are 3 things that you would like to improve on? Telly, I'll tell you what, Telly, you can go first. What are 3 things you would like to see yourself improve on as a film director?
3 things. Definitely writing the story. I think everything starts with the story. I think in terms of trying to up my game, I think if I could do more on the writing, I think I could make a biggest difference. And next thing will be how to be creative, because I think being creative, it's even more important than having like a huge budget. I'm not saying having a huge budget. It's
Oh no, some of the best movies have been made on them.
Yeah, but being that creative mind, and to have that creative mind, I think I have to enrich myself more. Maybe like read more, watch more, because I've hear or listened to some of the greatest. They always encourage filmmakers to read and watch, absorb. So that I'll definitely have to do more, especially like reading. It's very hard to sit down and read nowadays. There's so much distractions.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, you ever gone to Barnes and Noble? Just I do that. You know what? It's funny though. You're not kidding though. There's a lot of distractions. I mean, I used to read all the time. Now I just read one location. Because I make sure that I'm alone and I have no distractions, and then I can read a couple of 100 pages. But you're right; it can be a distraction if you have a family going on, a wife and kids and whatnot. It can be.
Yeah.
But what are 3 directors do you like? I mean, that inspired you or influenced in how you make film? What would be 3 of your best directors, in your opinion?
Well, I really like Aaron Sorkin. He's a brilliant writer.
He is.
I watch some of his like tutorial lessons, and he will explain how to how to work on a story, how to research. He's not I mean, he's mainly known as a writer, but he also directs. Some of his latest work he wrote and directed himself, and I've seen them, and they're just very, like, the craft is very very good. Like, he knows how to put things together, and then he throws surprise punches. Like, those are really good things to experience.
He's a brilliant writer.
Yeah, he's a brilliant writer. I think he's a very good director too. I mean, if you watch his work,
Yeah.
he's definitely one of those on the top of my list.
What are other two directors would you say are up there?
Well, I like Ang Lee. I mean, he's from Taiwan,
Oh,
and I'm
Ang
from
Lee,
Taiwan. Gotta support him. No, I mean he's also one of those who who paid attention to details, and I like.
That's another one.
Yeah, his craft is also like right up there.
I was so glad he got a shot at redemption after he did the Hulk. He did the
Yeah, the Hulk. Yeah.
That was. But then he came back and did Crouching Tiger. Hidden Dragon. I mean, that's a brilliant film. He did Wind Talkers. I mean, he's just a fantastic director.
Yeah.
Wind Talkers was my first extra job in California.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. I remember being on the set, and they had so much money. It was almost like they were just giving it away. There was just so much there. And like we would do the scenes where we would have our food and we would go through the line, and they would give us the food and they would just throw it in the garbage and just give us a new food. It's real food that you can eat. I just always thought that was such a waste.
I can't really think of like a third person. I mean, there are people who's done like one project that it impresses me, and then there are people who wrote something. So it's kind of like a collective. Like I just draw from different sources as inspiration. I mean, there's one, Werner Herzog.
Oh God, Werner Herzog. Oh, he's a joy.
He's one of those very special director who's
He
got
really
vision. I like him very much too. I watch some of his. He teach filmmakers how to approach making films. Sometimes it's kind of like breaking the law, but it's fun watching. He's a rebel.
I like how he gets in front of the camera. He still gets out in front. He still acts.
Yes, he does that too. Yeah.
So don't give up on that acting.
Telly, you could be like M. Night Shyamalan, who always gives himself a little role in all his stuff.
Right.
And he does really good. I liked him in Signs.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was really good, that role.
Oh,
you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could be a Quentin Tarantino it pops up in all his movies, so we wish we wouldn't.
Hey, Telly, Telly, I got a question for you, Telly.
Yeah.
Any big movie that's been out in the past 30 years, if you could do a different version of it, like a reboot, is there any movie that's been out, like Spider-Man or anything at all, that you would love to reboot?
I'll say they should do The Lion King, but not live action, just 3D animation version.
Oh, so you'd like to direct a 3D animation version?
I mean, live action just didn't really work.
No,
in my opinion.
They should have left that alone. Do you find that sequels are damaging to Hollywood? I mean, is it more important to do original work than to continue to do remakes and sequels?
I think it depends on who's doing it. I think it really does, because I thought Stallone did really well with the Rocky movies. 5 was a little messed up, but I think overall 6 of I thought he did pretty well. But then there's some. So I think it really depends on who's doing it. And like Star Wars, I'm not really fond of the new ones that much. I think, no disrespect to Disney, they're a huge, amazing company, but I like what Lucas was doing, that it was about family, honor, and I think it really depends on who's doing it.
I just thought they remade the first 3. It's really what I thought.
Hunter, you hit it right on the head. That's exactly what they did.
Betty saying, no, we cannot redo Lion King. That is a classic. Yeah, I agree. we did not. That movie did not need to be remade.
We can never remake Rocky. I will not let that happen.
No remaking of Rocky.
No remaking Rocky.
There's a lot that you shouldn't really touch, like The Godfather. I don't think it'll work if you try.
Well, do you know what I just read that they're remaking that broke my heart? The Wizard of Oz.
Didn't it already did that?
No,
Yeah,
that was a
but that's
prequel. That was the
Oh,
prequel with James Franco. But
oh yeah,
now they're
Oz the Great and Powerful. That was actually
yeah.
pretty good. I actually like that.
Yeah, well, it wasn't bad, but I think that Judy Garland one should stay like that.
I agree.
Yeah.
What about you, Lorenzo? What are three things that you what are three things that you could improve on in your craft that you'd like to improve on? What are three aspects of your craft that you like to improve on, and how are you improving it?
Well, one, I think, your acting ability can always be improved and really get even more specific as to those, you know, that those characters that is your genre, is your, field of interest. So really getting more specific. So I'm always doing the things that are right for me and improving my acting. So this way, I want to just sit on a couch and for some reason, just sitting there and everything I'm doing, people are amazed by. So one, the acting, and I'm with Telly on screenwriting. I really like to get really good at screenwriting. Even better. I think you can always be good because I think that's the most important part of filmmaking. I don't think the camera and all that's great, but the script is where I think it's all about. If you can get the person to lean in, I think it doesn't really matter what kind of camera they have because your script is so good.
Yeah, I don't think equipment necessarily. Yeah, I got the latest digital camera. Okay, how's that going to improve a story that's dead on arrival?
Yeah, absolutely. If you can get the audience to lean in and be so interested in you, that's good. And I think third, I think is to not let the negativity of the world get in my way and not let me create hurdles for myself with all different things people say and comparing you to people and this and that.
Have you found yourself as both as a director and as an actor? I mean, what's life like now? Is it easier do you find it easier to get assignments, directing assignments, or do you find it easier is the auditioning process getting easier for you now that you have a few movies underneath your belt? Does it seem to be happening a little bit easier for you now that you got a few credits?
It's definitely a good question. One, I think we live in a different time of entertainment business. It's so different now that, everyone is on streaming on Netflix doing it. Tom Cruise is like the last movie star in this entire world. Am I getting more gigs? I think it is getting better. I finally, I'll be honest, at 22 years, I finally have a good agent but an agent that understands me, not this, bull crap of let's send him out. And if after 6 months, you don't book anything, then we got to let you go. I said, come on, let's just be real. It might take 6 months just to get one audition.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think being creative and what I've tried to do is just not sit there, and by always creating, doing things. And that's why working with Telly and his brother, Henry, and sometimes his other brother, Mr. Hun, that they're all great people, and every idea we go after and put out there. And from doing that, it creates, it makes you needed and wanted in other places, or like getting auditions. And like from doing this, I was able to get an agent. So that was fantastic.
Yeah, that's what's it like? What's the process like in getting an agent? I mean, do they find you, or do you submit your work to them? How does that work? I mean, who hires who? Does the agent hire you, or you hire an agent?
Well, it's both. Although, if you're a known actor or coming from, like, if Tom Cruise is my uncle, then obviously I don't have to do anything. He's making a phone call. But for the most part, it is both. But the actor might not think so. But you have to interview these agents as well, because if they don't vibe with you, it's like a marriage that it's never going to work out. And what do? The old-fashioned way was get a list of agents. You send them a headshot. Next week, send them a postcard. The third week, make a phone call, and then send them another headshot. But now it's gotten hard because on their websites, on a lot of these agents that are big, that are in my wheelhouse that I can get, will say, if you call me, I'll blacklist you. And just for making a phone call and doing my due diligence. So you really now have to, find agents. You have to research them and see if they're your type of people. And then get a small list and email them and hound them and tag them on Instagram. And before you know it, you got to keep it up. Like it took me, like I said, I've had 22 years of horrible agents, just disrespectful people. And, one wanted me to do adult films.
God.
Yes. And although I appreciate it because it would be fun, I'm sure, but it's not the direction that I would like to go in.
Yeah, it's not a legacy you want to leave behind.
It was a manager. He's like, he said, Lorenzo, I can really get you work making money and, the other side.
Wow.
That's
That would, well, I mean, it'd be one of those things where you say, but thanks, but no thanks, right?
Right. Yeah. But I hope that answers your question about getting an agent.
No, it does. So what's next for you two? What do you guys, what do you have planned going on next? I mean, do you have a new project you guys are thinking about doing? Or like again, will we see Mr. Han? Will Mr. Han go back to doing social media again until it's time for him to come back?
Well, I don't think Mr. Han is done, right? Right, Telly?
He may return.
Yes,
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think Mr. Hun's got to return. Definitely, he's got some things going on, so you gotta stay tuned. Some people are calling Mr. Hun for things.
Yeah. I think that's so cool that you guys did that with the phone number. I think that's highly original. And I really like that. I think that's really neat. And then the people call, I mean, do you ever talk to the people or you just listen to them leave a message?
Yeah, we don't actually have someone to answer the phone call. We just leave voice message to let them know it's a film project that they're participating as a fun experience. But people leave messages, like I mentioned before. Some of them are funny. Some of them actually, let's say if you've seen the film, you probably heard a voice message in the very beginning with the girl who was talking.
Right.
That was an actual message from the phone.
Yeah, it's in the trailer in the beginning when it's in the sky. You hear somebody.
Wow.
So she actually left this very funny message.
She was very enthusiastic. I need a Hun lady now.
We decided to use it in the in the final cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Lorenzo? What do you got coming up next?
Well, Telly and I are actually in post-production for a docu-series about actors called "So You Think You Can Act." No, it's "So You Think You Can Act." But it's a docu-series all about actors. So we go through basically every part of being an actor that you can think of. And so we're in post-production for that. And currently through all the stuff we've done, we got a showrunner who's helping us get that out there because that's their job. And pretty confident. We're really excited about this. It's very original because there's nothing out there for actors. If you notice, if you can sing, there's 1,000 different shows for singers.
Yeah.
But no reality show, nothing like that for actors. So Telly and I and Henry were talking, and we're in post for that, and very excited about that, right, Telly? It's pretty awesome.
One thing to mention that this is more like a grassroots effort. Like we're not trying to tell you how to become Tom Cruise or something. Right. I mean, there are millions of actors or actor wannabe. Well, we're talking to people who have experience in the industry, like real experience. Like, how do you get in the door? How do you sustain yourself? They're providing a real path besides just saying, "Oh, just work hard." But like we have a gentleman who owns a movie studio in Las Vegas, so he provides advice, and the top film festival owner provides advice. Yeah, so it's like advices that you can actually, it's tangible. Like approaches that's tangible. Things that you can actually imagine that you can do. Not so not something that sounds like so far away that you can only dream about. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it very tangible, very relatable, but also at the same time, we're trying to show how hard it is to be an actor.
Yeah,
To
show
get
the
into
reality of that.
It's
It,
not
it is
easy.
it is harder now, isn't it? Because there's so many different shows out there and so many different streaming services, so many different series. I mean, I was funny. It's like I went to the library. I go to the library every week, and I have to wait. I get there an hour early to wait for the doors to open up for the bookstore. And so every week I grab the TV guide and I sit there and read the TV guide. Now, what's really funny is I'm reading about TV shows that I'll never see because I don't have a TV. I'm not hooked up to a TV, so I read up, but I read about the shows anyway, and I read
I like
about the
that.
actors
That's good.
and my neighbor who goes with me, she's always cracking up. She thinks it's funny because it's like I'm going like I'm reading about everything that I'm never going to see, and and but I do that because I want to know what's coming down the pike.
Yeah, it's smart.
Because there's so many different people out there, and there's so many different TV shows. I'm blown away. I'm blown away at how many TV shows there are. There's always something new coming on, and there's always new faces coming on. Never have I seen that before.
Well, and things are different now too, because before, if you were a film actor, you stayed in film. If you were a TV actor, you stayed there. But now it's just everywhere. These big stars they're doing commercials and aspirin commercials and game shows. Like you got big actors hosting game shows now and doing guest starring roles on TV that would normally go to me. It's a different ball game now.
No, I think a lot of actors are just doing the work because they wanted to do the work. You're
exactly.
right. Like, would with someone like a Matt Damon, would they pop up on a game show? Well, why not? Why not? It's a job. And the way that it's like, if you get asked to do anything, you got to do it.
Yeah, exactly. It just puts the actor like me then who would normally get that job, because I won't get it now because those actors are like, hey, I'm getting a job, I'm going to take it.
Yeah, even small supporting roles are being filled up by actors who normally you expect to see in leading roles. And you're right, next thing you know, you see someone like a Jonah Hill or Seth Rogen or whatnot. Here they are, they're being 6th or 7th billed, and they maybe just have a couple of lines here and there. They're just in there for the movie. And you're right, it sort of sucks because it's like, well, do you really need it that much? You would think, and at the same time you're sitting there going like, like a show like the Power, the Lord of the Rings one, the Rings of Power. Oh my God, they're employing hundreds of actors for those roles over there. It's like those things never happened. I mean, those kind of people are saying, well, I've never seen shows like this before. Well, in the 70s, they used to have miniseries, and they used to have dozens and dozens of actors into those roles.
Dozens of actors. Yeah,
it's like there's a lot of roles out there, but there's a lot more competition too.
Oh yeah, because now they're like, I can pay the new actor. Oh, but wait, the has-been actor from the 80s, he's willing to do it. Let's just give it to him.
Yeah, I can pay him the same amount of money for that.
Yeah,
still tread on his name. And throw them out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
you really just gotta, when you're an independent filmmaker like Telly and I, you just gotta, you get your ideas, you write it, produce it, put it out there, and hope for the best.
Hope for the best. Listen, I want to thank you guys for coming out and hanging out with me. This has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed talking to you about your American HUN story. Yeah, it was definitely a different type of film for sure. Easy on the eyes, to say the very least.
That was one of the titles we were thinking of. Easy on the eyes.
Oh, you could have went with that.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, you could have went with that. I think you guys made a fine movie.
Thank you so much.
I think it's a fun movie. For sure. And again, kudos for finding some fresh faces. I always like to see that. I really do. It's always cool to go back and look at somebody's IMDb and find out they only have 4 or 5 credits. because I was just talking to another podcaster before we came on the air, and I was telling him that I said because he lays back and he's trying to get the big fish. He's trying to get the big guest name, and I'm like, why do you do that? I said, why don't you go for some of the up and comers? Come for the people who are just that no one's ever heard of. So like when they do break, people can say, oh, I saw them on your show first. That's a lot of fun in there. It's a lot. It's a lot of fun, and I like doing that. You, Lorenzo, you came on at the last minute for me. I had a last minute cancellation, and you stepped in and did it for me.
Yes,
so,
and we had a good time then, and we had a great time now. So really appreciate it, Patrick, seeing you again, man.
Thank you.
I just know the next time I see you guys, it'll even be bigger and better things for you both.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and all your comments on the film. I appreciate it.
Yeah, then I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and we'll just go ahead and wrap this up. I want to say thank you to the chat for coming out and hanging out with us.
Yes. And Telly, you better not remake Lion King because someone's going to get you if you do.
I won't.
Don't remake
well,
the Lion
sorry
King.
to disappoint you. He's remaking it and calling it The King Lion. Whoa.
Whoa.
Yes.
And so next week, before I let you guys go, next week we will be back. Starting on the 4th of September, we will be back with the Midnight Society as we are covering X from A24. We'll be doing a deep dive with that. And next Tuesday, we'll be having the Cinema Squad doing their first of many takeovers. They'll be here on the 5th, 6th, and the 7th. Dan Eckhart will be here on next Tuesday. Sean Jackson will be here next Wednesday, and Jace will be here with us on next Thursday, a week from today. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you soon.
Thank you so much. You're the best, sir. Good to see you, Telly. Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Lorenzo.
We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Stay right where you're at, fellas. Yeah, we're stuck. There we go.